UN Secretary-General António Guterres, together with the Minister of Infrastructure of Ukraine Oleksandr Kubrakov, visited the port of Odessa, where Ukrainian grain was loaded onto one of the ships. The dry cargo ship will go to Turkey. There are 10,000 tons of wheat on board.
It's very emotional for me to be here today in Odessa and to see, I just saw wheat being loaded into a ship again. It's obviously a reason for joy, but it is also emotional because of the sadness I feel looking into this wonderful harbor and looking into these terminals practically empty, with the possibility that this harbor has to develop the Ukraine and the whole region being cut off.
Since the beginning of the work of the grain agreement, 25 ships have left the three ports of Big Odessa. More than 600,000 tons of Ukrainian agro-products have been taken on board. The Ukrainian Seaports Administration plans to increase the shipment of grain from Odessa ports.
We will be satisfied to reach 3 million tons per month, and also our 1.5 million, which we export through the Danube ports by rail and car transport. Then we will reach 5 million tons, which corresponds to pre-war supplies.
Now 10 vessels are being prepared for departure from the ports of Odessa, Yuzhny and Chernomorsk. They supply grain, corn, soybeans, sunflower oil. According to the Minister of Infrastructure, there are already more than 40 applications for entry into Ukrainian ports. In addition, the terminals have already begun to accept the new crop.
Our state is ready to be and will be the guarantor of global food security.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy discussed the increase of Ukrainian grain exports during the Trilateral meeting with the President of Turkey and the UN Secretary-General the day before in Lviv.
Ukraine, Russia, the UN and Turkey have demonstrated an example of working together that has a historical character. Now not only Ukraine, but the whole world feels the positive results of the Istanbul agreements, which made it possible to safely export Ukrainian grain across the Black Sea.
The second issue discussed during the meeting in Lviv was the situation at the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant, occupied by Russian troops. Nuclear blackmail of Russia is unacceptable, all parties of the negotiations assured. According to António Guterres, the United Nations supports the visit of representatives of the International Atomic Energy Agency to the nuclear power plant. The parties mutually agreed that the territory of the nuclear power plant must be demilitarized.
Russia must immediately and without any conditions withdraw its troops from the territory of the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant, stop all provocations and shelling. It is unacceptable that Russia is deliberately putting all of us on the brink of a global radiation disaster.
In close contact with the IAEA, the UN Secretariat has assessed that we have in Ukraine the logistics and security capacity to support any IAEA mission to the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant from Kyiv, provided both Russia and Ukraine agree.
The UN Secretary-General also confirmed that a fact-finding mission will be sent to the Russian-occupied Olenivka, Donetsk region, to investigate the explosion in the colony that killed Ukrainian prisoners of war. He also said that representatives of the Red Cross should have free access to the site of the tragedy.
Today I also discussed the investigation of the tragic incident in a detention facility in Olenivka on the 29th of July. What happened there is unacceptable. All prisoners of war are protected under international humanitarian law, and the International Committee of the Red Cross must have access to them wherever they are kept.
In turn, Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan said that his country is ready to become a mediator in the negotiations between Ukraine and Russia again. Among other things, he intends to try to negotiate with Putin on accelerating the process of exchanging prisoners.
I think right now those who follow us are wondering what is happening with the exchange of prisoners. We will continue to discuss all the issues that we raised today with the Russian side. Thus with Vladimir Putin.
In response, Volodymyr Zelenskyy emphasized once again that he does not see an opportunity for negotiations with Russia in the near future. According to him, they are possible only when Russian troops leave the entire occupied territory of Ukraine.
Я сказав свою думку.
I told my opinion to the president of Turkey that there is no trust to the Russian Federation. I believe that Russian weapon is everywhere, and therefore I am very surprised that they are ready for some kind of peace. People who kill, rape and hit with cruise missiles on our civilians, cities, civilian infrastructure, cannot want peace. Therefore, at first, they must liberate our territories, and negotiations will be later.
Turkey will help Ukraine in a post-war reconstruction. The corresponding memorandum was signed by the Minister of Infrastructure of Ukraine, Oleksandr Kubrakov, and the Minister of Trade of Turkey, Mehmet Mus. The first project is already being implemented. It is the restoration of the bridge in the village of Romanivka, Kyiv region, which connects Bucha and Irpin with the capital. It was destroyed during the Russian invasion. They were also talking about other objects which were affected during the hostilities. Reported by Pavel Stelmach, Yulia Bil, UATV News.